Greenland. What do you say to people?
You forgot the Panama Canal. The company eats the tariff.
Everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know.
We have one of the more wild Trump interviews we might have ever covered on this channel, as he goes as far in this to admit that he doesn't value the Constitution or doesn't know if he always will. So strap in, it's sure to get spicy. If you can, first leave us a like. We appreciate it. It helps the video get out there. And let's hop right into the madness.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth. But some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said.
This is reprehensible. It should be utterly disqualifying for a president to say that he doesn't know a clear-cut, undebated constitutional principle like due process. I mean, bro pled the Fifth 1,000 times when he was being interrogated and investigated, but he doesn't actually know what the Fifth Amendment is. I mean, that's pretty crazy. We're talking about hearings in many cases with these immigration hearings that are 3 to 5 minutes in front of a judge at most, where it's made sure you're the right person, that you're deportable for the offense that they're saying, that, you know, you're undocumented rather than, oh, hey, I'm a legal immigrant. Why am I being deported? Or, you know, I haven't committed a crime and I'm legal. Why am I being deported? You have your day in court where you have the ability to plead your case if need be. And if it's deemed you're deportable, you're then shipped out, which I disagree with morally, of course, but at least it's legal, which is like the bare minimum we can ask for from this administration. But instead we have Trump saying, I don't know, as a justification for defying the Constitution. Him saying he has a different interpretation as a justification for defying a 9-0 Supreme Court verdict.
We're talking about your desire to claim Canada, Greenland. What do you say to people?
You forgot the Panama Canal.
Panama Canal. What do you say to people who say they voted for you because they wanted you to end foreign conflicts, not start new?
I don't see that as conflict. I think that's good for our country, those things. Look, the Panama Canal was taken over by China, effectively. Now China seems to have left.
Trump at this point is essentially a George Bush level neocon with just more fascistic tendencies. It is kind of funny that MAGA really thought he was this bringer of peace and the anti-war candidate because he sold them the no war bullshit line that is really just a semantic play. As he escalated every single conflict he was involved in, he wanted to invade Venezuela, wanted to invade Mexico, wanted to shoot protesters in the leg, but immediately after taking office this time around, Trump says, yeah, we're actually open. Now I will use U.S. troops to annex the Gaza Strip. Oh, we're going to invade and annex Greenland. We're open to using U.S. troops to seize the Panama Canal. Oh, well, the U.S. will directly attack Iran if they don't sign this deal I want them to sign. I mean, bro is literally going to single-handedly barrel us into World War III with allies who no longer want to help us because he's bullying them economically with tariffs and stuff. I mean, and then he'll unironically say it was all Biden's fault.
What people don't understand is, and this is a lot, the country eats the tariff. The company eats the tariff. And it's not passed along at all.
Well, some CEOs are saying they're going to have to pass it on. So how do you deal with those CEOs?
But the company,
how do you deal with those CEOs?
China is eating the tariffs right now.
What do you say to those CEOs who are saying, we might have to pass this on to the consumer?
Well, they say that because maybe it's to their advantage to say it.
Will you punish them?
No, because you know what? I want them to build plants in the United States. That way they don't have any tariffs. See, tariffs will, and not only will, look at what's happened. In 2 months, we're close to $9 trillion of investment. We've never been anywhere.
I hate that Trump is able to get away with this extremely dumb point just because a large portion of America doesn't know enough about basic economics to understand tariffs. It's especially frustrating when MAGA is the same party that utilizes that to espouse, well, corporate tax increases will cause price increases that are borne onto consumers, so you shouldn't support that, which doesn't make any actual economic sense when you consider the law of diminished returns, which is a core economic principle where corporate taxes before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act were marginal. They were progressive also, right? Meaning the more your company makes, the higher level of taxation you would pay, which disincentivizes raising prices, because then you'll hit that marginal rate where the tax will take not only that gain, but even more from you, to where you'll be at a worse place had you just not raised your prices. This is why taxation, and also because it's multiplicative, your income tax, then the pass-through income tax. This is why taxation works as an incentive for business investment. As revenue is not taxed, revenue placed back in the business will continue to make you money throughout time, but it can keep you under that threshold. But that's aside from the point. The point is, when it comes to tariffs now, all of a sudden MAGA understands the nuance of a corporation borrowing a cost instead of the consumer, except they don't, because we have plenty of data on tariffs, specifically past Trump tariffs that he's implemented, and they're always almost entirely passed on to the consumers. And even what's not, for firms, for these corporations to take some of it, is to take money out of our economy, which hurts GDP, which increases the likelihood of recession, which then downstream lowers wages, loses jobs, and more things. I mean, there's no way you can look at this, understand economics, and think that it's good.